Oh, now, this is a story all about how local soccer media got flipped, turned upside down. And we like to take a minute, so grab a beer so cold, and we'll tell you how we became electric gold. In White House, Tennessee, born and raised on the soccer fields was where we spent most of our days. Reading Mad Magazine and riding our bikes with a known propensity for rocking the mic. Now we're a trio of guys who are getting kinda old, cheering on the boys and gold with every bit of our soul. Screaming our heads off while drinking some beers, hoping to give Cincy and Miami something to fear. Now Evan, John and Ryan are kicking the facts about Nashville SC, and they'll never come whack. If anything, we can say the show is rare. Acoustic blue and electric gold, the only colors we wear. We pull up the Doties about 7:38, and we yell to the refs, yo home, smell you later. We look at the castle, we feeling so bold. We sit on our thrones, we're electric gold.
Everybody, it's time to talk about soccer. This is Electric Gold. I'm Ryan. That's John. That's Evan. Nashville SC is having the greatest month of May of all time. It's amazing. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. What a week for the team. And it's a holiday weekend, so we've got an extra day off and just reveling in all the joy. How are you guys doing today?
I'm fantastic. Happy Memorial Day to you guys.
Happy Memorial Day. How you doing, Evan?
Happy Memorial Day, boys. I could not be better.
Yeah, it's a great time of year. It's summer. Well, I don't guess it's official, but in my mind and in my heart, it's officially here. And school's out for the summer. The sun is out, and well, kind of. It's time for summer, and it's time for soccer. But first of all, it's time to talk about what kind of beer you're drinking this evening. Evan, we'll start with you. What are you having?
All right. Well, tonight, boys, I'm enjoying a Knockout IPA by Fat Bottom Brewing. You know, this is a tried and true Nashville favorite. It begins with a lovely grapefruit aroma, but then it hits you right upside the head with flavor since it's both brewed and then dry hopped with Bravo, Cascade, and Pacific Jade hops. And boy, is it a delicious beer.
Wow, that
Sounds like it.
Sounds great.
And Knockout. Kind of like what we did to Orlando City this week, huh?
Oh, yeah. In the face. John, what are you drinking tonight?
Yeah, I am having a Kostritzer Schwarzbier.
Say what?
Have you guys ever had a Schwarzbier? So Schwarz is German for black. So it's a German black beer. Basically, it's kind of the German equivalent of maybe a Guinness, a stout. It's not quite a stout. It's so good. It's like a perfect balance of kind of that dark chocolatey roast coffee that you get with a stout with like a lighter kind of bready malt and bitter hop finish. It's so good. It's one of my favorite kinds of beers, and I don't see too many people around here try it. But every time they do, I go crazy for it. But I found out in my studying Kostritzer, this is the brewery that makes these. They've been around since 1543, so it's kind of a young one by German standards, by the ones we've talked about before. And I found out most fascinatingly that I have something in common with the famous German writer and philosopher Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. You know Goethe?
No,
Okay,
not at all.
I don't know too much about him either, but he is famous. He's kind of one of the most famous German writers of all time, and he lived in the late 1700s, early 1800s. And so by the time he was like 70 years old, the last few years of his life, he apparently drank nothing but Kostritzer Schwarzbiers. In fact, another scholar went to visit him in his castle hideaway, and he wrote home to his wife, the scholar did, about Goethe's diet. He said, "Oh, dear God, I'm swimming in beer. Goethe doesn't have an appetite for anything, not for bouillon, meat, vegetables. He lives on beer and rolls, drinks large glasses in the morning, and debates with a servant whether he should drink dark or light Kostritzer." So, Goethe, wherever you are these days, I'm with you.
Yeah, you're my hero.
I should have done more research to make sure Goethe wasn't, proto-Nazi or whatever, like a lot of Germans end up being. But yeah, so I didn't. So I'll put a caveat there. But yeah, otherwise, me and Goethe, two peas, one pod.
It was the early 1800s. He's probably okay. That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing. Tonight, I am having from Golden Road Brewing, Mango Cart, which is like a wheat ale. It is pretty light for a wheat ale. but it's made with real mangoes. It's really, you can taste that mango flavor. Blue Moon does a mango beer. I don't know if you guys have ever had it. This is real similar to that. I actually think this is probably a little bit better. Really enjoying it. Picked because Golden Road Brewing, and we're the boys in gold.
That's right.
And month of May has definitely been our golden road. So, guys, I'm really happy to be doing this podcast with you this evening, talking soccer and drinking some beer. Cheers to you.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Let's do a week in review. It's a good one this time. Nashville SC continued their frenetic May schedule this past week, once again playing 3 games in the span of 7 days. As we reviewed last week, Nashville had a scoreless draw at home with DC last Saturday before hitting the road to face Orlando City midweek in a U.S. Open Cup matchup. Orlando entered the match with a 12-match unbeaten streak across all competitions and had most recently dispatched Miami in league play 3-0. Coach BJ Callahan surprised many with an unconventional starting lineup that featured Jonathan Perez, Teal Bunbury, and Ah-MAY-zing up front, Brian Acosta and Matthew Corcoran joining Patrick Yazbek in midfield, and rookies Wyatt Meyer and Chris Applewhite as defenders alongside Jason Palacios and Andy Nahar, and along with Brian Schwake in goal. Many Nashville faithful might have reacted with the assumption that winning was out of the question after seeing this lineup, but we all know what you do when you assume. Nashville began by controlling the match pace, but that was quickly upended when Orlando designated player Marco Pasalic scored in the 17th minute to put the boys in gold on their heels. However, true to the form the team has displayed all season, there was no panic. Just a few minutes later, Ah-MAY-zing took a circuitous path through the box and made a pass for Teal Bunbury, who arrived at the ball around the same time as defender Rodrigo Schlegel. It was tough to tell who had last touch on the ball that darted past the keeper into the goal. It was eventually logged as an own goal, and it knotted the score at 1-1. Late in the first half, Ah-MAY-zing took a pass from Matthew Corcoran into the box along the left side and crossed an easy shot towards the right post, which narrowly found the goal. That score put Nashville ahead 2-1 heading into halftime. In the second half, Orlando sought to even the score, and their aggressive play eventually paid off when Ramiro Enrique capitalized on the Nashville turnover to strike fast and tie the game at 2-2. It looked like the game might be headed to penalty kicks until rookie Wyatt Meyer received a Yazbek heel pass at the top of the box and shot the ball with force past goalie Pedro Galice and gave Nashville the 3-2 lead. And that's how the game ended, punching Nashville's ticket to the Open Cup quarterfinals and getting some revenge on Orlando for the 2022 Open Cup penalty kick loss. And then Saturday, the boys in gold traveled all the way across the northern border where they faced Toronto FC, a team languishing near the bottom of the Eastern Conference this season. Coach Callahan rolled out the team's standard starting lineup for this match, and notably Walker Zimmerman was listed as an available bench player for the first time after a 2-month absence after suffering a concussion back on April 5th. Nashville continued their strong play early in the match, controlling the ball and setting the game pace. And while they were generating plenty of pressure on the Toronto defense, they couldn't quite break through with any real threatening opportunities. Toronto's side held up despite the pressure, and the game uneventfully entered halftime with no score. During halftime, Coach Callahan must have given the team a good talking to because their second half form was much improved and much more organized. In the 57th minute, Andy Nahar served a beautiful long pass up the right side to a charging Hani Mukhtar, who delivered a terrific one-touch cross in front of the goal, where Sam Surridge arrived just in time to tap the ball into the goal. With the lead secured, Nashville opted to keep the ball in front of them and protected their position throughout most of the second half. And in the 73rd minute, probably the most exciting part of the game occurred when the team and fans alike welcomed back Captain Walker Zimmerman, who was substituted into the game and got his first playing time since his injury. In the 89th minute, Jonathan Perez, having subbed in for Alex Muyl just a couple of minutes before, received the ball at midfield and turned upfield for a quick attack. Perez found Surridge on the right side of the box, and Surridge completed the charge with another score. And while Toronto managed a stoppage time goal from captain Jonathan Osorio, Nashville easily ended the game with the win and 3 points on the road. There's one more week of the busy May ahead for Nashville SC, but so far they've managed to navigate the month with 4 wins, 0 losses, and 2 draws across all competitions. They secured an Open Cup quarterfinals appearance for the first time since 2022, and in league play they've climbed all the way to 3rd place in the East with a record of 8 wins, 4 losses, and 3 draws, and a goal differential of +9. They are tops in the league in on-target shot attempts and accurate shooting percentage, and they are in the top 10 in the league in goals and key passes, and in the top 5 for corner kicks, expected goals, penalty kick goals, and attempts and assists. And their defense is on point too, having allowed the 5th fewest shots in the league this season. And now they have 2-time Defensive Player of the Year Walker Zimmerman back. Look out, MLS. How do you feel about all of that, guys?
Wow.
I can't even imagine feeling better. But it's going to happen, though. This year is special. This team is special. Y'all, we just got to hold on because it's going to be a wild ride this year.
Yeah, this is magic. This is magic happening right before our eyes. What did we learn this week, John, as you watch these 2 games?
The main thing that I learned is that this team has completely bought into BJ Callahan's style of play. They all know what he wants to achieve, and they all are on board with it. We've questioned the depth that Nashville might have had in the past, but the backups came in against Orlando and played exactly the same way. We still play without high press. We still played beautiful football over the pitch. We allowed a few goals, but who cares? We won the game, and it's exciting. It's so fun. BJ laid down the law. He wanted us to play a certain way, and by God, we're playing it. I love it. May it continue forever.
Amen to that. Evan, what did you learn this week?
Yeah, similarly, I learned that BJ knows exactly what he's doing. I had no reason to doubt him, rotation, anything like that. I couldn't be more proud of this team. I couldn't enjoy watching them play more lately. They've just put all my doubts to rest, and I cannot wait for what's to come.
I couldn't agree more. Callahan has laid out a terrific approach, a terrific strategy. The team has bought in, as you have said. Everybody knows their role, and they're generally playing it to perfection. You know, like you said, there was some concern about depth, but next man up, man, Wyatt Meyer, look at him go.
Yeah.
You know, look at these guys. Look at Perez. Look at, you know, even Teal getting in on the act to some degree in the Orlando game. We've got some good depth. Maybe behind Surridge, we could have used a little bit more, and I'm a little bit questioning, you know, on goalie what we're going to be doing. But otherwise, I mean, just all around the field, we've got some depth players that we can count on. That's the thing is we've got players that are reliable. It's been a lot of fun to watch. This whole month of May, what did you guys think when you saw this schedule originally and you looked at this month of May? What were your expectations?
With there being so many home games, I hoped that we would take care of the home games and eke out a draw or 2 on the road. And I felt that would have been a good month. We've blown past that.
Yeah, no kidding. Evan, what were your expectations for this month?
You know, intellectually, I knew that we had a deeper bench, but I think I was still operating emotionally on last year's experience when we really struggled with bench play and injuries and that sort of thing. And so I think I was concerned, to say the least, maybe anxious, you know, maybe skeptical going into this, but my goodness, no more. We clearly have the depth. We have the coaching. We have everything we need to see ourselves through these busy months like May.
Now, obviously, it's not over yet. There are 2 more matches that we're going to have this month on the road versus Columbus. And then we're going to come home and host New York City FC next weekend. And those are both good teams. They're right behind us in the standings. Columbus has the same amount of points as us. New York just slightly less. We still have to be on our game, but we have so far conducted a really excellent month of May. And it got me thinking about what are some of the greatest months of May that have ever been experienced. Obviously, this is one of them. This has definitely got to be in the top 10 or 15 of greatest Mays of all time.
Sure.
But let's just do it. Let's do the exercise. What are some of the other great Mays throughout history? So there is, of course, 753 BCE, when the founding rights of Rome were established, that the city's foundation really, it was started in April, but the rituals went into early May, and that's when it was celebrated, symbolized the birth of what would become the Roman Republic and then the Empire, which of course influenced global governance, law, architecture for millennia. Then, of course, you guys remember 303 BCE, which is when peace was established between the Maurya and the Seleucid empires, which was so important for the Indian Empire and Hellenistic territories of the time. The Indian Emperor Chandragupta Maurya and the Seleucid General Seleucus I ended their conflict with a peace treaty, exchanging territory and then initiating the diplomatic and trade ties that paved the way for the Mauryan Golden Age, as you all recall.
So important.
Good May.
A little bit later, in the May of 786.
Oh, heck of a May.
Especially if you were living in Iraq, because that's when Harun al-Rashid became the caliph of the Abbasid Empire. This really kicked off the peak of the Islamic Golden Age with advances in medicine, astronomy, literature, and mathematics. It's when Baghdad became the intellectual capital of the world.
Give me those Mays. More Mays.
Not even 100 years later, in the May of 868, the Diamond Sutra was printed during the Tang dynasty of China. It is to this day still the world's oldest dated printed book that's ever been discovered. The Diamond Sutra. It was produced using wood block printing. It was a major leap in preserving and sharing knowledge centuries before Gutenberg established his printing press. And of course, then there was the May of 325, which was when the first Council of Nicaea began. And this was really important. It was convened by Emperor Constantine. It was the first ecumenical Christian council. It produced the Nicene Creed, unifying Christian doctrine and influencing global religions to this day.
Solid May.
It's a solid May. Was it as good as the May of 1264 when you had the Battle of Lewes and the first representative parliament in England? Simon de Montfort forcing King Henry III to accept the first parliament that included not just the proletariat, but also commoners, which was a foundational step towards democracy. And a very important May, guys.
It's a May to remember.
I think that it pales in comparison to the May of 1429 when Joan of Arc lifted the siege of Orleans, a 17-year-old peasant girl who turned into a military leader and saved the French city of Orleans from English siege, becoming a symbol of hope and courage in the 100 Years' War. We all remember Joan of Arc. And that's her second best accomplishment next to, of course, helping Bill and Ted get their term paper done.
That's a May magnifique right there.
And of course, no list of the great Mays of history would be complete without some American entries into the list. We have, of course, May of 1869, when we completed the U.S. Transcontinental Railroad. It was the golden spike that united the East and West Coasts by rail, transforming American commerce, migration, and national identity. You could say that it really kicked off the Industrial Revolution here in the country and laid the groundwork for America to become the dominant global power that it is today. And of course, also during this time, the post-Civil War freedoms were beginning to take fruit. In early 1865, the 13th Amendment had abolished slavery, and it began to take effect across states in May of 1865. By May of 1869, again, the same May as the Transcontinental Railroad, African Americans were voting, holding office, and participating in post-war Reconstruction.
Love that May.
Love that May.
Here's a May that your grandpa probably could tell you about. That's May 1945. It's when Nazi Germany surrendered unconditionally. Ending World War II in Europe and began a new era of peace and rebuilding. May 8th, of course, being declared as Victory in Europe Day. And just a few years later, 1953, May 29th was the first successful ascent of Mount Everest. Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay became the first confirmed people to reach the summit of the world's tallest mountain, an epic achievement of endurance and cooperation. At the same time, in the same May, James Watson and Francis Crick discovered the double helix shape of DNA, made that publication. It laid the foundation for genetics and biotech and modern medicine. What a May of accomplishments it was in 1953. And, 1961, we had the first American in space. In May, Alan Shepard flew aboard the Freedom 7. And just weeks later, JFK committed the nation to a moon landing. Whether or not we did that is up for debate, but it did kick off a golden era of space race. And then in 1994, Nelson Mandela became the president of South Africa on May the 10th. It was a great May that after centuries of colonialism and decades of apartheid, Mandela was sworn in as the first black president in a peaceful transition of power, ushering in democracy, truth, and reconciliation for the country.
Beautiful May.
Some great Mays.
Great Mays.
Great Mays.
I'm not saying that Nashville SC's May is the best of all of those, but it's in the conversation. Am I right?
It's an amazing May.
It's an amazing May. Exactly. That's my list of great Mays. Where we rank on it has yet to be determined. We'll see how this week plays out. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear from you guys. What was the greatest thing of this last week of May that you saw? We'll do Oh Hell Yeah. All right, John, you're up first. What's your Oh Hell Yeah for this week?
Yeah, there's so much to choose from. I'm going to go to the Orlando game. And during that game, obviously, we had valuable contributions from veterans, especially Brian Acosta and Till Bunbury in my mind. But I want to focus on 6 guys: Patrick Yazbek, Matthew Corcoran, Wyatt Meyer, Ahmed Kassem, Chris Applewhite, and Johnny Perez. Those 6 guys have a combined age of 125. Or a little less on average than 21. So collectively, they couldn't even buy a beer, right?
Oh, wow.
These guys went in and beat a pretty close to full-strength team that hasn't lost in 12 MLS matches on their home turf. My oh hell yeah is that not only are we good right now, but our front office with these guys has set us up to be good for a long time. If that doesn't make you think, oh, hell yeah, I don't know what will. Like, this is going to be a good team for a while.
We've laid a great foundation. Yeah, watching those guys succeed in Orlando against that team who did roll out, like you said, mostly a full-strength team. Unbelievable performance from our backups. They did great from our young guys. Evan, what was your oh hell yeah this week?
Man, that was such a good one. Mine this week, though, was seeing Walker Zimmerman come back into the squad. Of course, he got listed on the bench, and I was just like, oh, hell yeah, because, we just didn't know what was going on. And right before that, you guys remember, we were starting to see some things online, which, of course, you should probably be highly suspicious of anything you see online anymore. But we were seeing some things where people were saying, hey, he may not come back this season. We even saw a handful of people speculating he may never come back. Yeah. So to see his name listed, available, it was such a huge moment. And then for him to actually come on as a sub, guys, I couldn't get my oh hell yeah out. I was too choked up. I had to say it internally, but internally, I was just like, oh hell yeah, our captain is back, baby.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Now, that's probably my pick as well. This Saturday, when we play New York City,
oh man,
we got to welcome him back. The home crowd needs to welcome him back with a lot of fanfare. I don't know if he'll be starting. Maybe not. But whenever he hits the pitch on Saturday, man, we got to be ready. The fans need to be ready. I hope we have a close to full stadium so that we can show the love to Walker and welcome him back the way he deserves. Right?
Oh, right. Yeah. It's going to be, I cannot wait for this game.
I'm already excited. I'm already jazzed so bad. I can't wait.
We got to give these guys a hero's welcome. A hero's welcome. The team in general, but especially Walker, man. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. All right. Well, there's got to be something. It's been such a great ride so far this month, but there's got to be something you can pick out over the last week that maybe you didn't love so much. This is oh, hell no. Evan, what was your oh, hell no moment this week?
Yeah, I know. I've actually got one. It's pretty serious. I'm probably going to have a hard time discussing it. I'm going to have a hard time coping with it. And that's that I have to wait all the way until Saturday to get back to Geodis Park to see our beloved boys in gold. Guys, how am I going to make it? I don't know how I'm going to do it. Oh, hell no. You got to be kidding me. Saturday?
It seems so far away, doesn't it?
It does, man. It does.
Too far.
It's been so long. And I'm dying for this game. You guys are going, right? Are we all going to be there in person?
Yeah,
we're all going to be there, baby.
Hell yeah. All right. And it's an afternoon game. That means the tailgate starts early, guys.
Yep.
That's right.
John, what's your all hell nah moment this week?
Once again, I cannot find fault with Nashville SC this week. I'm just not going to do it. So my all hell no is going to surprise you. It's going to be in sympathy of a Cincinnati player.
Huh?
Yeah, believe it or not. My all hell no goes to MLS referees. Y'all fucking suck. Like, obviously, every team is going to say that there's referee calls against them throughout the course of the year. We didn't like one last week where we thought we had a goal against DC United. It got chalked off. But, man, there's been way worse calls in other games. And if y'all saw last night, the Atlanta-Cincinnati game, Cincinnati defender Nick Hagland caught a cheap shot in his ribs from Atlanta forward Emmanuel Latalat. Hagland has 2 broken ribs and a collapsed lung. And he's requiring surgery and had to stay behind in Atlanta. And there was no card given to the Atlanta player, even though there's VAR. And it is an obvious elbow right in his ribs. And obviously with enough strength to shatter 2 ribs and puncture a lung of a professional athlete, how do you miss that? What are they doing? Why are we paying these people to be watching the video and they can't even make that call? So my all hell no is MLS referees. I hope Nick Hagland recovers quickly because obviously we all love beating FC Cincinnati. I would love for that to happen, but it would feel a lot better if we beat them when they're full strength. So hopefully Hagland comes back quick. And MLS referees get it together. Lionel Messi last week dissed MLS referees. He said they were shit, basically. And it kind of came off as sour grapes because Miami sucks right now. But I'm feeling the best player, soccer player of all time, might have a damn point, and he might know what he's talking about here. I don't know what the solution to that is. I don't know how we find better referees. I know it's a hard job. I coach my son's teams. We're constantly trying to get people to try to be referees because we need them. But my God, y'all have to get better because it's dangerous out there.
We've constantly been complaining about that. Like you said, the DC game was an atrocity in terms of, that goal should have counted. That's so forth. But yeah, when you have somebody suffer severe injuries like that, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that happened. And the refs just completely miss it. Did they even call a foul? Was there even no
foul called?
Kick or nothing? Oh my gosh.
They even made a comment that they reviewed it and they said, they reviewed it for possible red card and said it wasn't strong enough. How is that not strong enough when you injure a player that severely? That's dangerous play.
Yeah, ridiculous. I don't know what we pay MLS refs. I just looked it up. ZipRecruiter says anywhere between $6.25 an hour and $58.65 an hour. So I don't think ZipRecruiter has very good information right now. I doubt the refs are making $6.25 an hour.
I really hope not.
But then again, that would explain a lot.
Yeah, it would.
BJ Callahan wanted to see the team score 50 regular season goals. We have surpassed the halfway mark on that goal. We are now at 26 goals for the season in just 15 matches? So we are well on the way. We're close to a 60 goal pace. And of course, each time that the team scores a regular season goal, we are listing off a few of our favorite things. So for each goal, we'll list one. We're not counting the Orlando game because it was a U.S. Open Cup game. So we have 2 goals to honor this week, the 2 goals from Sam Surridge in the Toronto game. And Evan, I believe that it comes to you. It is your turn. What is one of your favorite things?
Okay, guys, one of my favorite things is game night. And no, I'm not talking about match day. I'm talking about board games and card games. I'm talking about having friends and family over, making some great snacks, putting on your party playlist and completely destroying your competition. So whether it's like Trivial Pursuit or maybe it's catchphrase, maybe a card game, whatever it is, it's going to be a good time. Guys, I love a card game. I love hearts. I love Skip-Bo, but I especially love Rook. You guys ever play Rook?
No, you need to teach me.
Gosh, maybe like 30 years ago.
Okay. Well, this is a big game in my family. I learned to play pretty young. We played at a lot of our holiday gatherings, and it's so fun. It's a great game, but over the years, it becomes less about the game itself and more about the story that you're continuing to write. And that's what I love about it. And regardless of whether or not it's Rook or one of these other games, we've got these great stories that we're building. Here's one example. Guys, when I was a kid, at a Christmas get together, we were playing Gestures. Remember Gestures, the game, kind of a charades type game? And my Uncle Maxie, who anybody who's ever met this man loves this man. He is such a lovable guy. He was up there. He was demonstrating whatever the clue was, and whatever it was, I don't even remember. He got down on one knee to do his thing, but like nobody was getting it. So I think he kind of just like abandoned the idea, and he started to stand up. And when he did, he started clutching the back of his thigh and grimacing, and everybody started guessing cramp, pulled muscle, Charlie horse. Guys, he actually got a Charlie horse. That wasn't what he was trying to demonstrate. And once we realized that, it was the most hilarious thing that I think I've ever witnessed. All right. Another one of these little stories. This involves my dad. My dad likes to push the limits of acceptable ethical game night behavior. So, for instance, in Rook, we eventually noticed that sometimes he'd be scratching his face in this odd way where he's kind of like putting his thumb, and we realized what he was doing was he was telling his partner, hey, keep bidding. I got a pretty good hand over here.
Oh my gosh.
Or he'd say something like, boy, you see that blackbird out in the yard? Boy, that bird is really black, or something like that. And he'd be trying to like tell his partner, hey, I got a lot of black cards in my hand. That's a good suit if you want to name that. So anyway, over the years, we've developed these great stories, and we talk so much trash, and we have some great laughs. And that's one of my favorite things, guys, game night.
Excellent.
I love that. I could not relate to a human more than to your Uncle Maxie. Because, man, anytime I do something just slightly off now, there's going to be pulled muscles galore.
Yeah, I can just be standing still, and all of a sudden pain happens. Well, great selection. And now, John, it is your turn for Sam Surge's second goal to name one of your favorite things.
I got one that just came to me last night. We mentioned that school is out now. And so I've got an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old. It is nearly impossible to get them to do anything, to enjoy doing anything that isn't video games or watching some asshole play video games on TV. So me and my wife, what we do, at least once a week, we have movie night. If y'all have seen movies directed towards kids lately, they mostly suck. And I dread it. Like, I'm trying to do the right thing, but man, most of them, they start singing all the time, and they're so stupid. I fall asleep during them. And so the thing that I have come to appreciate is a kids movie that does not treat kids like morons. And I saw one last night that I absolutely loved. It's called The Wild Robot. Have you guys seen The Wild Robot?
No.
It came out last fall, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's kind of a sci-fi type thing. There's a robot who falls onto an uninhabited island, and basically it has to learn to communicate with the animals around it to keep alive, to do what it's programmed to do. And man, it is a tearjerker. It was so good. I compare it to, if you guys ever seen Wall-E. Wall-E is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Kids movie or not, like I love it. And The Wild Robot is very similar to that. Like it's aimed towards kids, but it doesn't treat them like morons. And I just have grown to really appreciate that ability to make a movie that kids will sit through, because God knows it's hard to get them to sit through anything, and that the adults in the room are not rolling their eyes and falling asleep.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix right now. If you got kids, definitely watch it. If you don't have kids, definitely watch it. You're still going to love it. It's a great movie.
Okay, wonderful. Love the recommendation. Watched a bunch of kids' movies over the years as my daughter's grown up. And that was one of our traditions, is go to the movie theater, watch all these movies. A bunch of them sucked, as you talk about. There's been some great ones over the years, but I finally had to call it quits after, what's the one where all the feelings are manifested as actual characters and the girls? Inside Out.
Yeah.
That came out and my daughter was like 13, 14, just beginning her teenage years,
Yeah.
And it really hit hard.
Yeah.
It was incredibly emotional and stuff. And after that, I was like, I am done. I'm done watching kids' cartoon movies. I am retired from this genre. I will never watch one of these again. I cannot handle it any longer emotionally.
They rip you apart.
They really do.
The Wild Robot is definitely one of those because, it's all about parenthood, basically.
Yeah.
And man, it killed me. All four of us were just sitting there crying. It was crazy.
Wow. Okay. Well, sounds like good one, I guess. So, anyway.
It depends on what kind of mood you're in. Yeah.
I guess so. Okay.
In that mood. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, right now I'm in the mood for something spicy, guys. I think it's time for our hot chicken takes.
My hot chicken take is that these owners got skills to shake, entertain the crowd and get on the field. 'Cause why the fuck not?
Okay, Evan, you get first crack at it. What is your hot chicken take this week?
Okay, well, you know what? This one's probably not going to be so spicy, but it's the only thing I can really think of this week, and that's that a little adjustment period with Walker back. I'm not saying necessarily it's going to be dip in results, maybe not even a dip in the quality of play, but I think there's going to be an adjustment. Not only have we seen guys like Palacios step up and play great, I'm not too worried about guys like him because I think there's still going to be a need for a lot of rotation. We've seen guys like Jack Mayer step up in a big way this year, whereas you might remember last year when Walker was experiencing some injury issues, and it seemed like Jack was a little lost without him. Not this year. I think Jack's going to be just fine. I think he has solidified his role, his maturity. Where I think there might be a little adjustment period is in just leadership. And I was talking with the captain about this today, as a matter of fact, over beers and burgers. And he pointed out something that I hadn't thought of, but I think is really important. And that's that some other guys, particularly Patrick Yazbek, have stepped up as leaders, vocal leaders, on-field generals, that there might be a little bit of an adjustment period with Walker back because that used to be his role. Again, not so spicy. That's my hot take for you. Curious if you have any thoughts about that.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Obviously, Palacios, Applewhite when he's played, and Jack above all. These three guys have really stepped up. Obviously, we're only going to need two center backs at a time in. There might be a period of adjustment for sure, but it's one we need to make because there's no defender in MLS like Walker Zimmerman. As good as those other guys are, Walker can dominate a game, unlike pretty much any other center back I can think of in the league. But it is good that we've continued to play well in his absence because I know he didn't make the Gold Cup team. There's still going to be rotation. There's still going to be times where somebody is hurt. And ultimately, his absence, obviously, most of all, I'm glad that he's okay health-wise.
Absolutely.
It might be a decent thing in the long run for the team that he had some time out and these players had to step up. It was just a thing they had to do, and they did it.
That's where I was going to go with it, John, is that as we look to the long term, I think this has been a really valuable time for the team to figure out who they are without Walker. His contract is up at the end of this season, and I'm really curious as to what the team's actions will be with him going forward. Will they try to re-sign him? Will he be the designated player going forward? Will he be on that type of contract? How old is Walker now?
He's 32, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. So 32. So obviously he's not at the beginning of his career. He's probably towards the end of the middle of it, or we'll see how much longer he plays. But he's certainly at a point in his career where we need to be thinking about what's next. We need to be grooming the Applewhites and the Jack Mayers to take over and lead the defense in the future. So I think it's been great experience for them. I think there's a little bit of a glut. Who are we going to play in the middle of the defense? I mean, I think Nahar and Lovitz have the wings locked down, but we've got Jack Mayer, we have Palacios, we have Applewhite, and now we have Walker coming back. We have lots of options there. We certainly don't have to play him 75, 80 minutes in a game. You know, he can be subbed out earlier, especially as he's working back into game condition. But I think that you're right that we need to be patient in terms of his recovery time and everything. He's not going to look like peak Walker right away. I think more importantly is what is the team going to lay out for his future? What's the role going to be? What's the plan going to be around him as they move forward? It'll be very interesting offseason when it comes to Walker Zimmerman this year, I believe. All right, John, what is your hot take going to be this week?
All right. My hot take begins in the year 1503 in the town of Saint-Rémy-de-Provence in the Kingdom of France. And there was a man that was born there at that time, and he lived until the age of 62. So he died in 1566. And my hot chicken take is that the soul of this man has been reincarnated, at least temporarily, in our good friend Evan right here. The man that I am talking about, of course, is Michel de Nostradamus, a.k.a. Nostradamus. Because Evan, I don't know if you're realizing this predictions, but my God, specifically, you got the 3-2 score right in Orlando last week. Who else predicted that? No one.
Right.
Only Nostradamus / Evan. And at the start of the month, you predicted that we were going to go undefeated for the month of May. We are 180 minutes away from that ridiculous truth becoming a reality. And, you know, Nostradamus, a lot of his predictions were really kind of vague. And so Evan may not get the scores right every time, but man, when he looks in that crystal ball, the truth comes out.
No doubt.
So that's my hot chicken take, is that we have a French prophet living amongst us.
Oh my goodness.
Look across the whole landscape of commentators and analysts around Nashville SC. Who among them made these predictions, these bold predictions, and got them right? Only one. And that's Evan here on Electric Gold. I know that often people, they look at Electric Gold as it's a fun hang or whatever. These guys aren't really the ones to listen to for in-depth analysis or whatever. But hey, when it comes down to it, we know what we're talking about. Am I right?
Yeah, we do.
I have a theory that the more beer that we drink, the smarter about soccer we become.
Oh, please.
The smarter I can become about everything.
Yeah, that is accepted scientific truth right there, buddy.
Yeah, it's been proven over and over again throughout my life. I can guarantee that.
Decades now.
Listen, I appreciate the hot takes, guys. It's time to move on and see what maybe some of our listeners have been saying. John, have you got some good mailbag entries for us this week?
Yeah, I had quite a few, so I've narrowed them down to 3. First of all is one that was a hot chicken take that both the person who said it and I could not be happier that it has become a very cold chicken take.
Okay.
Michael, a few weeks ago, wondered if Walker Zimmerman was actually dead. That was his hot chicken take.
Yeah.
And so when he appeared, he actually texted into us and said, nothing but a cold take now. And Michael, I know you're happy about that, and we are certainly happy about that.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got one from another listener. I'm actually not sure what this person's real name is. They're Mercy Honey on Instagram. And this was made after the DC United game. So there's a little bit of saltiness in it. So she had an all hell no.
Okay.
And she said that the creative team of Nashville SC was going through an identity crisis. So some things that have changed this year at home games. The guitar riff is not happening at the start of the game. It's moved way back.
Right.
At the start of the year, they were lighting up the inn, and now they're not doing that. There's like a new montage before the game. They changed the goal song from Mr. Brightside to, is it Boot Scoot Boogie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad move. Mr. Brightside was better. I mean, luckily, you know, I never really heard it in the supporter section because it's too loud over there.
Right.
I never hear the old song. They have an on-the-pitch MC this year. They're not sure of her name. Obviously, they're not announcing attendance this year because everybody knows it's a lie.
Yeah.
There's no more fun player cups. The new cups are metal and have no lids. And then they're giving ducks to goal scorers. What's that all about? So, yeah, her thing is that there's just too many changes for one season. She's always confused during the pregame now. What are you guys' thoughts?
Wait, are you saying they're not giving out the engraved records anymore for goals?
I think they're giving one out for man of the match. I've seen a few pictures. But gotcha. They don't seem to know where they're going. They're kind of all over the place.
They should ask us.
Yeah.
They need us to be like commissioner of fun for NSC. Yes. We would nail this. The whole thing is that you want to establish some clear traditions with the team. And once you land on them, you've got to stick to them. You can't be changing it every couple of seasons. The reason why your attendance was stale was not because the riff was poorly timed or, you're giving the wrong thing out you're playing the wrong song when a goal scored. That's not what affects attendance. The play on the field was the most important factor in all of that.
The team was butt last year.
Yeah, right. So they are fixing that. But, you want to establish some clear traditions, hopefully that have some ties to the team and the city. And then you want to stick with it. The riff was awesome. And it's great that it would be well timed right when the kickoff began. It always captured my attention every single time. Now, when it happens this season, it happens. I don't even realize it happened. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah.
So it's just like it's poorly managed. This listener has got it exactly right. There's all these different changes. I actually don't mind the Boot Scootin' Boogie as a song because it is a country song, matches with Nashville. Right.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a cheesy song, but whatever. It's a fine pick. Like you said, I never hear it anyway, because if a goal is scored and you're in the supporters section, you're just deaf at that point. So
you're not going to hear it.
No, right. Your ears are full of beer being poured all over your head. So anyway, yes, this listener has it exactly right. There's a bunch of changes. This team has been like this since they moved into Geodis Park. They keep moving things around, changing things. And it's just like, no, man, just stick to some things. Make it a tradition. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. That's what will make this so rich 10, 15, 20 years from now, is that we've been doing these same things since the beginning. That's why the Johnny Cash song was so important to begin every game. It's because we had established that tradition. And then when you go and change it on us, it's like it really sucks some of the fun out of it. Wholeheartedly agree with this.
I want kids that are going to the games now to be telling their kids about these things that we do 20 years from now, for sure.
Exactly. And be like, I sang these same songs when I was your age, Yes, that's exactly what needs to happen.
And Geodis Park is home away from home for a lot of us. So, you want traditions. You want things you can count on at home.
Yep.
Don't mess with a good thing.
Well, she had one other question, and we might have gotten the answer in the last day or two. She said, what about the missing third kit that we were promised back in April?
Oh.
If you believe Internet Scuttle, our third kit is kind of white, and it has what looks like an Opryland style font that says Nashville in the front of it.
Yeah.
It's cool. I could see worse.
Yeah, I'm never a fan of the white jersey, to be perfectly honest.
I can't wear it.
No, right, exactly. Us overweight dads can't wear it.
Well, there aren't many of us in Geodis Park, though. There aren't many of us overweight dads as NSC fans, right?
Yeah, you're right. But the font choice is nice if that was the intention, was to match like the Opryland style. And so many people that are recent transplants to the town won't get it or make that connection. But I love that. I love the idea of connecting back to this city's history, So if that's the intention, great. We'll see if it is truly the legit kid or not. But could be. It's a different take than they normally do, which I like. I like doing something different with the jerseys rather than just the same played out sort of like designs that you see everywhere across all of soccer.
Yeah. All right. So we got one last listener contribution. This is a hot chicken take from a listener named Matthew. He says, as much as I don't want it to happen, Jacob Schaufelberg gets sold this summer. He will go team up with Alistair Johnson at Celtic FC in Scotland. What do you guys think about that?
Wow. That is spicy. That might be the spiciest one all season.
I mean, I could see it happening, although actually a little bit less right now. We're on such a roll that we may not want to mess with the chemistry of this team. If we were still struggling like we were last year, I could definitely see him moving somewhere and us taking the money. But I don't know. I think now that we've got a good team, there's a higher chance that we stick with Schaffelberg.
Yeah, I think that he's been gasoline on the fire since he has returned and been included in this strategy or approach that the team has offensively. That's when we've really started to soar. I mean, you could almost mark it to the time that when he played the first game this season, he's started the season injured. And when he played his first game, from then on, you've seen this team really take it up a notch. I think he's a big factor in that. Even though he hadn't scored a lot of goals, the pressure that he puts on defenses is incredible. So I think it would be tough for the team to let go of him at this point. He's pretty critical, I think, to what they're trying to do. What do you think, Evan? Yeah,
I agree. And you think about him coming on as a starter, which has relegated Johnny
Cossum.
P mostly, and Cossum, to coming on late. And, either of those guys have been typically outstanding late game subs for us. So yeah, that could really be a chemistry breaker there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I like the idea of it at this point. We just got a good thing going. Let's do as little as possible to tinker with it or change it up.
Evan, you just reminded me, though, we've mentioned Johnny Perez could potentially go back to Galaxy in July.
Oh, yeah, true.
I think if that happens, then Schaffelberg is off the table as far as transfers.
No doubt.
We'd have to,
definitely
keep him at that point. Another thing he said is love the podcast and never stop telling us about the beer you guys are drinking. And Matthew, that is an electric gold guarantee. That will never, ever happen. We will always tell you all about the beer we're drinking.
For sure. We may do entire episodes where that's all we do.
I think Matthew asked for it. I mean, it sounds, I'm reading between the lines. It sounds like he just wants an all beer pod, right?
The people have spoken.
Yes.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, guys. Well, let's move on. It's time to look ahead to next week. It's the week in preview. Boys in Gold get absolutely no time to revel in their recent success as they have 2 more games on the slate this week, and both are crucial Eastern Conference matchups. First up, the team travels to the 7th level of hell, otherwise known as Ohio, to face the Columbus Crew. Columbus actually has the same point total as Nashville, but sits in 5th place to Nashville's 3rd as a result of the home record tiebreaker. Columbus has had a much different month of May than Nashville SC has. They won their first game in the month against Charlotte, but then notched 3 straight draws against Philly, Montreal, and Cincinnati before losing to Charlotte last weekend 3-2. Their Uruguayan forward Diego Rossi is having a masterclass of a season, having scored 7 goals and assisted on 3 others. Columbus is tough at home, having only lost once, and this game looks to be both an important matchup and an evenly matched one. Then next weekend, Nashville wraps up its crazy May schedule back in Geodis Park when they host New York City FC. NYC FC sit right behind Columbus in the Eastern Conference in 6th place, so it's another formidable foe for Nashville to overcome. However, New York City has been lackluster on the road this season with just 1 win, 3 losses, and 3 draws. They have only scored 18 goals across 15 matches, but they have only allowed 15 goals during that stretch. The NYC offense revolves around 26-year-old Costa Rican forward Alonso Martinez, who has scored in his last 2 games and has 8 goals overall. NYC had 2 wins this past week, first by beating interstate rivals the Red Bulls 2-0, and then by beating Chicago FC at home 3-1. Once again, the Boys in Gold will have to bring their best in order to hang against both of these tough Eastern Conference rivals. So with that in mind, guys, I'd like for you to each take a moment and gaze into your crystal balls, y'all. And John, we'll start with you. What do you foresee for the team this week as they wrap up May?
Well, Nostradamus does not live inside of my brain, but I feel pretty good about these. At Columbus in the dreaded Ohio on Wednesday night, the boys that properly wear gold, talking about us, are going to beat the little boys in yellow 2-1. I will say Columbus plays beautiful football, but God, so do we now. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a pretty game, but I think we're going to win 2-1. We've got the better finishing right now. We've got a guy that we haven't even talked about hardly in this podcast who just scores in bunches. Sam Surridge is going to get both goals Wednesday night and just keep on rolling.
Wow.
And that's what it's going to be. And then New York City on Saturday. It's going to be electric at Geoda's Park. It's a day game. I love day games.
Yeah.
I wish we had more of them. There's going to be breakfast served at the tailgate, which I love. I love breakfast at all times.
Yes.
So I'm going to be pumped and ready to scream my full head off. And Nashville SC is going to take all this energy. I will say, hope to God that La Brigada de Oro are able to come to the game. I understand if they can't, but if they're there, it just becomes that much more of a party. Overall, 4-1, Nashville SC. We're going to steamroll. We're going to stomp New York City. I don't care where they are in the standings. They stink. I hate New York City. We're going to blow them out. They're a little thing that nobody even cares about. They're the toy of the Abu Dhabi. They're an afterthought of Manchester City as owners, and they don't care about them, and I don't care about them either. So screw them. 4-1 NSC.
But how do you really feel? All right, Evan. What's your crystal ball have to say over there? It's been nailing things lately.
Okay. Well, thank you for those kind words about my predictions, guys. I was a little closer last time, but I wasn't quite right. So let me just readjust my rabbit ears antenna on my crystal ball here a little bit. And now I'll gaze into it. And here is what I see, guys. Up in Columbus on Wednesday night, we are going to get a 1-1 draw with Johnny Longsleeves scoring late in the 89th minute, what my brother refers to as the magic minute. Johnny P is going to get the tying goal in the 89th minute, giving us the point there at the dearth. On Saturday afternoon, boy, is it going to be a party, and it's going to be a beautiful day. And I look into my crystal ball and see a 2-1 victory against NYCFC with goals by MVP contender Hani Mukhtar and Golden Boot contender Sam Surridge.
They are all stars, both of them. I tell you what. Okay, great. I'll take that. I'll take that result all day long. And it's definitely promises to be an exciting finish to the month that has been just incredible. One of the greatest Mays of all time. And I was born in May, so you know it's one of the best Mays.
Well, there you
go. The greatest month of all.
You know it's saying something. All right, guys. This has been fun. As always, I've really enjoyed it. John, before we go, we love that listener feedback. We love hearing the hot takes from our listeners. How do they reach out and share that stuff with us?
We are Electric Gold NSC. We are on Facebook. We are on X, formerly Twitter. We are on Instagram. Seriously, I light up every time I see the notification on my phone because it's just so awesome that you guys are listening and responding to us. We want to hear more of it. Any hot take, any all hell yeah, any all hell no's y'all got, just send them to us, and I swear we will have more mailbags in the future. And I just want to thank you all. We love you.
Yeah, fantastic. We appreciate everybody who listens and supports us. It's been a fun ride so far, and we ain't slowing down one bit. So thank you, Evan. Thank you, John. And thank you, everyone who's been listening. In the meantime, keep on rooting these boys on. Keep cheering them on. Keep supporting the team. And, of course, keep on saying it. Come on, you boys and gold.
Come on, you boys and gold.
Under cities, neon lights, talking dreams on Friday nights. Electric vibes and stories told. Come on, you boys in gold. Waves of laughter in the air. Podcast pals without a care. Sharing glorious thoughts out loud. Come on, you boys in gold. Waves of laughter in the air. Podcast pals without a care. Sharing glorious thoughts out loud. Come on, you boys in gold.
Wait. Stop. We're playing both Columbus and New York City this week. And oh my gosh, just the misery from both of those places. Columbus, for instance, the capital of Ohio, which is like being the most exciting flavor of plain oatmeal. The city's biggest brag is that they're in Ohio, which is like flexing that your prison cell has a window. The skyline looks like it was generated by an AI trained on stock photos of a city. People from Columbus say that it's not that bad, which is Ohioan for I've accepted despair as a personality trait. It's so depressing, even the sun only visits in April, and by mistake. It's surrounded by cornfields, billboards about hell, and the crushing weight of generational disappointment. You don't move to Ohio, you just give up somewhere else and then end up there. It isn't flyover country, it's emergency landing country. It has a university so big, and yet it still can't make the rest of the city interesting. The most exciting cultural event in Columbus is Ohio State losing to Michigan and the collective breakdown that follows. Every bar in Columbus looks like it was built from the broken dreams of business majors. It's like playing The Sims with no expansion packs. The only thing more soul-crushing than a Columbus winter is a Columbus summer where everyone pretends that tailgating is their therapy. In fact, Columbus is the only city where people get excited about new Arby's locations. If you Google average, Columbus will come up, and then your Wi-Fi will die out of pity. The most relatable mascot in Columbus is the pothole. It's proof that not every city needs to exist. In Ohio, well, that's proof that God has a dark sense of humor. And New York City, oh my gosh, it's the only place where people can pay $4,000 a month to live in a shoebox and act like it's something special. It's the city that never sleeps, and that's mostly because of the sirens, the rats, and the regret won't let you. Every New Yorker thinks they're tougher than you, but then they cry when the bodega's out of oat milk. If New York City is the heart of America, it's clogged with overpriced bagels, horn-honking rage, and 47 Chase banks per block. And New York City FC, it's the only team that shows up to Yankee Stadium every week and still can't score. You're a soccer team that plays on a baseball field. You train in New Jersey. I mean, what are you doing? Your biggest rivalry isn't with the Red Bulls. It's with basic stadium geometry. Watching NYC FC play at Yankee Stadium is watching a play take place on a folding table. Technically, I guess it is possible, but spiritually, it is so wrong. Your field dimensions are so bad that FIFA should fine you for crimes against rectangles. NYC FC fans, you claim to be hardcore, but half of you just stumbled in thinking it was a Yankees game with a new kit. You have more supporters groups than you do actual supporters who show up on time. Half of your crowd leaves early to catch the 4 train, and it never even arrives. Your biggest tradition is apologizing to away fans for the view behind the foul pole. New York is fast, ruthless, and unforgettable. The soccer team couldn't be the furthest thing from it. It's the city that birthed Biggie and Jay-Z and the Wu-Tang Clan, for God's sakes, and you gave it Maxime Chenot. Anyway, New York City and Columbus, you're going down this week. We got something special for you, and it goes like this.
Well, there ain't no stopping the boys and gold. I don't care what you've been told. It don't matter which team we play. We're not gonna lose in the month of May. Super Sam just can't be stopped. He makes your 9 seem like a pretender. And Honey is getting goals and assists. He's looking like an MVP contender. Ain't no stopping the boys and gold. I don't care what you've been told. It don't matter which team we play. We're not gonna lose in the month of May. Nahar is the best right back in the league. He's better than your center mid. Daniel Love gets his play in the best of his career. When he makes a perfect tackle, I flip my lid. Well, there ain't no stopping the boys and gold. I don't care what you've been told. It don't matter which team we play. We're not gonna lose in the month of May. What? Walker's back. Well, there ain't no stopping the boys and gold. I don't care what you've been told. It don't matter which team we play. We're not gonna lose in the month of May. Well, there ain't no stopping the boys and gold. I don't care what you've been told. Don't matter at all
In the second half, Orlando sought to even the score, and their aggressive play eventually paid off when Ramiro Enrique capitalized on a Nashville turnover to stroke fast and tie the game at 2-2. I meant to say strike fast, not stroke fast.
Talk about
Oh my God. Let me say that sentence over again.
Sometimes you do have to stroke fast.
It depends if you want to enjoy it or not, I guess. All right. Try again.